fun way to enter the stream, Reg saying, I forgot it's going to get worse. Life is tough out here, man. Life is tough out here, but no, it's not going to get worse your night because we're here to talk some Ring of Honor and what was a pretty fun little episode. It is your ROH post show for October 12th already, man. Just wild stuff that is moving along this quick, but we ask you to get in your super chats and your humper chats at humper chat. Oh, don't get in your humper chats. Force of habit. I don't have access to humper chats if we don't have Luis.
Yes.
Psych. That was a pop quiz to see if you guys are paying attention.
Boom.
Get in only your super chat so that I can manage that from here on out. We will ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That one, I didn't screw up. That one on the nose with. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a thumbs up. We'll also remind you to subscribe to Fightful Select. All sorts of stuff coming out on FightfulSelect.com. My goodness, more about CM Punk's status or non-status. I know, me too. But a lot of people aren't, and they subscribe to Fightful Select. So be cool, man. Be cool.
If you like it, I like it too, actually.
Yeah, actually, no, we're huge fans. But you also get Ask Rhapsody on FightfulSelect.com featuring this fella and Phil Lindsay as well. So you get all the scoops you could possibly ever want in your whole life. And you get bonus episodes of podcasts. You get me and Alex Pulaski doing bonus post shows as well for pretty much any pay-per-view that's not NXT. NXT we do on the main channel. So plenty of content and plenty of bonus content. Sean's Q&A is something I always put over. This week, you could ask him what it feels like to get big time by the NXT show because we had Mansoor on. He did not.
Heyo!
And you know what that did? He did not do 1 million in the views. Not this week. Not this week. So let's get started. Maybe Mansoor will show up this episode. Maybe he won't. Oh, I didn't tell him about it. But the point is, you just never know what's going to happen on the Fightful streams, people. But Reg, overall, this was a really fun episode of ROH. I feel like we saw some new talent in the mix, like Kip Sabian and a couple other people getting some reps that we don't normally see. We're seeing some consistency in some stories. And even though my titles aren't around as much as I want them to be, we did at least get Eddie Kingston here. And we are starting to see some stories actually building out, which is really refreshing. What were your thoughts overall? Because I felt like positive momentum, but I felt that before. I'm starting to feel like the boy who cried wolf over here.
Baby steps. We can rewind back to a few weeks ago, right? Just where Reg on this podcast here said, hey, things are going to start to get pretty good. I think eventually we're just going to slow walk the dog into it. We're slow walking the dog into it, okay? You feel the effects here. Matches feel a little bit more important. We got the champions on our show. There should be more. They should be defending their championships. But, like I said, baby steps. We got to see Eddie Kingston, the queen, the MVP of Ring of Honor. Athena's here on the show. Bunch of great tag teams. Like I tweeted about, bunch of amazing black wrestlers. Shout out to the BW500 coming out very soon. A lot of those people were here on the show today.
A list?
Yeah.
I'm sure the internet will react so normally.
I'm not going to be on the internet that day, Kate.
No, nor should you. That was kind of like how Tuesday was. I was like, I don't understand why people are on the internet, self-included this week. But you're right. There was a lot of really great talent, a lot of really great black talent on the card, and just nice to see some consistency. That's all we ask. We're simple people. We don't ask for too much.
It's not hard.
It's not hard. And what we've been asking for is champions being around, and look who shows up. We've got our world champion, Eddie Kingston, and Serpentico in a proving ground match. Also, I love a good proving ground match, Reg. I love them. So I was thrilled to see this. I figured this was being used to set up what we eventually did get out of this, which I'm not mad about at all.
Yeah.
But I like this. We get Eddie Kingston locking in the stretch plum for the win here. Nice to see our champion around. That is refreshing. Thank goodness. And then in the post-match, we get Angelico and Eddie getting into it a little bit here. And I like this. I like that a proving ground match kind of failed from the stipulation perspective, but we still walk away with what looks like is setting up as a title defense and a little bit of a story here, which is refreshing. What are your thoughts?
Great to see Eddie Kingston on our Ring of Honor show. The Ring of Honor champion should be on the Ring of Honor show and should be defending the championship. Actually, scratch that. Great to see Eddie Kingston on all shows. Everything he's been doing recently has been amazing. The Suzuki match, I will cry myself to sleep how amazing that was. Send it, do it again next week, and we'll watch it again. Eddie Kingston's amazing. Anytime, Kate, you get him 1 on a show to wrestle and 2 with the microphone, we got a winning success for formula right here. There's been a couple of people in the chats talking about it. This was Lucha Underground Ring of Honor episode. Right. So, I mean, very exciting stuff. And Angelico's a really dope talent. So I'm happy to see him be the next one. Yeah. Even though it's Ethan Page's time. But, we're walking there.
We are. And I like that. I like that we can see contenders down the line. I like that the contendership is based off of wins and losses, where this is based off of, hey, what did you do to my friend?
Yep.
Mix variety in the storytelling. And to your point, y'all know I'm a big Eddie Kingston mark, but he's the right guy to have around if you're actually going to have someone defending, because he's just an ass kicker.
Easy.
Oh, and he's so damn good on the mic. He makes you believe in anything. So for a brand that feels like it's needed some footing, I'm excited to see him as a champion because I love Eddie Kingston. But
he's the best.
For the type of champion, this is a really good call. And people in the chat love to see it too. We got Matthew Hooks chiming in via super chat. Thank you so much, saying ROH is improving. Add the champs, and I'm happy. We got a couple today. They were your world champions, which is good news. But yeah, those multi-man belts need to be around. We've got more love for this. Meet Norma saying, "Sup, partners? Nice to see ROH champ on the show." Yeah, it's a pretty simple and fundamental thing. Yep. But I love it. I love it. Good stuff to see, and just nice to see our world champion around. And I love how different Eddie feels than Claudio too. It's always nice in the transition of champions when something feels completely different than what came before it.
Exactly.
So because you mentioned Angelico, let's talk about that match. It came later in the night, but we do get Angelico defeating Marty Casal. I hope I'm saying that right. Apologies if I am not.
Marty the Moth.
Marty the Moth getting losing here. Angelico locks in a leg grapevine on Marty to force the tap out on this. Good stuff, though. I feel like, man, Angelico was one of those ones that as soon as TH2 went away, so did his singles push, and he's really, really good in the ring. He's smooth as hell. I thought this was a perfectly fine establishing match for why this guy should be a world championship contender outside of Serpentico, right? This was good. This was solid stuff.
Yeah, another Lucha Underground special right here. Both these guys were big parts of Lucha Underground. Yeah, I think getting mixed up in those things, Kate, people kind of forgot that Angelico is a really great wrestler. Like, he doesn't get the chance to show, he could be in there with Bryan Danielson and our minds would be blown, but he just hasn't had the opportunity to do it. So getting to be in there with Eddie, who's cooking on another level after winning these championships and being in Japan, we're going to see something really special, I think.
I think so too. And you're absolutely right. Part of what I really liked about this episode was Angelico and Kip Sabian getting some love, because there's people who have been working really hard that just haven't had the breathing room. We've seen it. That's what I have liked is, the tag belts haven't been around, but how much have I been screaming about the Workhorse Men and the Iron Savages, people getting some love that it's just a really stacked roster and they haven't had the breathing room in AEW. This is kind of what I was thinking we were going to get out of Ring of Honor.
That Kip Sabian and Anthony Henry match. Oh my God.
Really good stuff.
Can't wait till we get to it. Wrap me up in it. Wrap me up in it.
Yes. We are going to get there, but we've got some wrestling to get to before that. And we've got some more love coming in from you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We'll read your chats in the order of the segments that we can. I'm going to do my best. I'm flying without Luis. It's a very weird world, but we get Gates of Agony with Prince Nana defeating Fresco and Watson.
Yes.
Bishop Khan with the pinfall for his team. And this was essentially a squash, but
yeah,
this was a really good episode, so I don't like to be down.
You're about to say you get it, but you don't get it, Kate.
Yeah, I do from the perspective of we're keeping it strong with Gates of Agony, but who are you and where are you? Are you in AEW?
Right.
Are you here? Are you a tag team?
I don't think we need them in Ring of Honor at this point is where it's landing with me. They're with Swerve and Prince Nana.
I agree. Or like, if you're a tag team, you should be in the tag team division, but you were just trios champion. So just some clarity around it, but a squash is a squash. I'd be more mad if this took up more time, I think, on television, for sure. Well, as you pointed out, the ladies holding it down on Ring of Honor so much.
Who's surprised?
Not me. Reg, you weren't here last week, but I was named minion number 6900.
I did see that. Sweet. I did see that. Wow. Crossover Athena. Come on our show. What are you doing?
What an honor, honestly. I just tried to give myself that number, and then for her to make it official meant a lot. It meant a lot. So,
but then she had this match and was really rude. We're going to talk about here very soon to power. Just okay. We'll get there. She's so rude.
She committed murder today. We could say it. Like, she power bombed the ever living crap out of Miss Mazerati, who I'm less familiar with, but had an awesome look to her, and it is great. Like, I'll definitely be seeking out more of her work, so I'm excited for that. But she power bombed the ever living S out of Mazerati. Holy crap! And she wins via submission and referee stoppage. Billie Starkz hides her under the ring while Athena's not looking, so that she's not a victim of the post-match attack.
Yep.
The story here is so great. Like, Athena keeps getting more violent and more vicious to the point where it feels uncomfortable. And Billie Starkz can't handle that. And I love that, because you kind of feel uncomfortable as a viewer when you see a powerbomb like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I love the story that we're getting here. And we get a little bit more later on with Mercedes and Diamante in the picture. And I just think this is an absolute home run. This match was genuinely, like, that power bomb looked genuinely tough to watch. Like, that was nasty. Reg, what did you think of this?
Athena is the MVP of Ring of Honor. I'm going to say it 1,000 times. I've said it 1,000 times, and I'm going to say it 1,000 more. Yeah, Maserati's great. Her along with Fresco, and who else was in the last match with Fresco?
Watson,
yeah. Fresco and Watson. They're all a part of the Las Vegas indie scene. Very talented individuals. Fresco and Watson are part of this group called Lights Camera Faction. They're
best
awesome.
name ever.
Yeah, Lights Camera Faction. Really good. They're amazing. Maserati had as good as a showing you can have of getting your life almost ended on TV for us all to see against Athena. Athena hasn't stopped being Athena amongst all these things that she's doing with Billie Starkz, amongst these stories that she's telling, amongst simply us almost being a baby face at this point. So it's interesting stuff going on here, Kate.
It's pretty impressive. Meet Normus with a generous chat. Thank you so much. Saying the Athena murder of the week. Maserati entered the match and left a Daga. Love to see it. Billie running the Porcelain Husky Rescue Squad here for it. I mean, it's so incredible because she has been so dominant and vicious, and then this extremely silly thing kind of came out of nowhere, and we've gotten to see this entirely different side of her. She can just do anything. And what I love is that people are going to complain because they're going to be like, you made a WWE comparison. But sincerely, what I like is, I'm stepping into Reg's world for a minute. But, and you know what? AEW is guilty of this too, but I feel like it's very consistent in WWE as a complaint of mine, is being funny or silly doesn't suddenly flip a switch and that's the only thing about you now. So like Matt Riddle, other than being an absolute moron, what bugged me was he is a badass in the ring, and then when they found out he was funny, he was only a funny stoner and nothing else. Still incredible in the ring, but with Athena you have these very silly vignettes, but she's taking them seriously. So when she's in the ring, you buy into the fact that she's serious. And I just love the range of that. I think that's really, really incredible. Feels very different than like how Toni Storm is silly when she's bringing that into the ring with her. Like there's a lot of diversity in that. And I appreciate that. I love seeing that.
Let them fight them too, please. And thank you.
Please. Yes, please. So we get Man, there's a lot of good stuff this episode. Reg has been waiting for this. I keep looking at my rundown and I'm like, I like everything. Lee Johnson is backstage, interrupted by Shane Taylor Promotions. Shane Taylor asks Lee Johnson if he's tired of losing yet. Lee Moriarty says Johnson should join and start winning again. Taylor tells Johnson to think about it. We wanted to see Shane Taylor Promotions get rounded out. We have seen, sincerely, not necessarily like storyline wise, because he's been losing, but we've seen great improvement from Lee Johnson in the ring, I feel like, week over week. I love this. I love Shane Taylor Promotions being complete. No offense to the Workhorsemen, Shane Taylor with them. That was weird.
I'm still like, why? What was going on there? I don't know what you guys are doing, but all right. But now we're here, Kate. Things are shaping up. Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty has been really good so far. Lee Johnson has been killing it for the last, 10 weeks or something here on Ring of Honor television, just like coming back, being consistent in these matches, just being a really good wrestler. So him being paired with them, I think, is a great idea. This promo was fun. They got to add more members, I think, at this point. What's going on?
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I would say they are very likely contender for the 6-man championships.
Yeah.
The only weird thing is, like, Dark Order's been really absent, and they had one of the best stories in all of ROH with the Righteous. Yeah, and where's Stu Grayson at? Like, I was so excited to see. Yeah, what happened?
Oh, no.
I felt like that was going to be the story. Maybe it still is. Maybe they're waiting till closer to the pay-per-view to cycle them back in or something like that, because obviously Hung Bucks and Dark Order have some business to take care of, but that was the only story for so long, and now it's completely dropped. I'm like, bring them back. Bring the boys back. But
we want Stu.
I would not be mad if the end result of that story was he's out on his own, because I have so many singles matches in my brain that I want to see him in ROH so bad. So we get a video package with Daga. Very nice to see. And Daga says it's his first time in ROH and that he just wants to show everybody what he's capable of, challenging QT for the AAA Latin American Championship. And let's talk about the match now, because I like to smush things together when we can.
Yep.
QT retaining here. Daga looks great in this, though. QT wins with the dirt sheet driver to secure the win. Oh, QT is drastically underrated in the way he curates fan reactions. I think people miss how good he is at getting fan reactions, which is kind of the point of wrestling, to be honest, Reg. So very cool that he's had this very unexpected kind of AAA run. That's awesome. I thought Daga looked really good in his ROH debut. He's obviously had some ups and downs, but I'm happy to see him here. No complaints about this. And it also, if we're not going to have our ROH champions around, not mad about it. Not mad about having somebody else's titles just to beef up the episode a little bit. What did you think?
Yes, this was a roller coaster of emotions for me. Big fan of Daga. Again, Lucha Underground. We're back in the game. I think he's very talented. He's looking.
This was Ring of Underground.
Yeah, it seriously was. He also New Daga kind of has like Pac vibes in the same thing. They kind of look alike and stuff. I'm like, I don't know, but I like him. Tony Khan is a big Lucha Underground fan. I'm learning, and he just loves Lucha Libre because he brings all the best luchadors to wrestle here in AEW and ROH. QT Marshall. Okay, see. He's so good at his job that I've learned that I hate him. Like, I don't want to see him wrestle. I hate him so much. So this match, I was like, I hate QT Marshall so much. He sucks. But he did this to him. He did this to me.
He was supposed to, yeah.
But he's actually really good when the ding, ding, ding. Like, you know what I mean? Can't take away from the guy. He can really work. He sucks so much, though, it's hard to get past it. But yeah, this is a super fun match. And like you said, we can't get Ring of Honor championships on here. If we could get some kind of championships on here, I'm in.
You can mark. You got worked, bro, by QT.
Can't believe it.
I'm with you. Really refreshing to see Daga. I like the comparison to Pac. Like, that's a good call. Some good work here, and some chats about it that we love to see. Shane Monster saying, bring Daga back. He looked slick with QT. a less murder crazy Lucha Underground and ROH. Let's bleeping go.
Let's add in murder too. I don't know. I like that.
Yeah, we can add in murder.
Impact does
we got it with Athena. I mean, basically. So, also still wondering where Stokely Hathaway is. A fair question, man. I don't know.
He was on a pre-show recently.
He was on a pre-show recently. He was like appearing when Samoa Joe was on the show. Yeah. We haven't seen Samoa Joe in a while, so they're probably like, I don't know, they're probably working Royal Quest as a tag team together this weekend.
I think so.
Yeah, would be my guess. So that's probably what they're up to, because we know that they are clearly besties after what we saw from them last time. So good stuff there. We get Shane Taylor Promotions and the Infantry. Reg, I said it last week. I need your thoughts, okay?
Yes.
Shane Taylor Promotions goes over here because Shane Taylor just drops people.
Yep.
Just drops people with his right hands. I have a theory, and
is it an Austin theory?
No, Cole Carter was on the show today.
Thank you. He was.
That was for you.
Saw his shirt.
We did that. Sure.
See?
Oh, love Hot Moms. It's surprising that you don't like him that much when you do love Hot Moms.
I know. We have so much in common. It's crazy.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you're like, that is my territory.
That's my gimmick, bro. Give me the shirt. I'm going to start wearing the shirt on the thing. Yeah. Right. I have to get one for next week, Cole Carter. Shout out to Cole Carter. Yeah, I guess we're just too much alike. All right. Whatever. You and Austin Theory. No. Hold on. Wait, let me back that up. I'm out of this. Leave me out of this.
I'm out. It's been real. Here's my theory, and I gotta say, Sean Dean agreed with it, and Carly Bravo agreed with it. Who are the tag team champions for ROH? MJF and Injured Adam Cole.
Yep.
Who has 2 wins over MJF?
The captain.
Sean Dean. MJF's paying people off.
Yeah.
Clearly. This is all rigged somehow. And, it just hurts because ROH has been one of my favorite brands of wrestling, usually my favorite brand of wrestling for years. And to think that they would just let MJF come in and corrupt it. Like, what is wrong with you, Jerry Lynn? Stokely, that's not surprising. He's a bit of a shy star, obviously. But, it just feels like this was a brand built on integrity. And now you're letting MJF, because he's scared and doesn't have his brochacha with him, he fears the Infantry. So all of a sudden the Infantry is losing.
You know what, Kate? Some dots are connecting here because the Infantry was on a streak. They had Trish Adora. They had Willie Mack. A lot of things were going on. They were getting winged. They were coming on. They were looking great. And all of a sudden, Max and his brochacha win the championships, and something happens. They can't even get close to the titles for some reason.
Isn't that convenient? Shane Taylor is dropping them with a right hand.
Also on the other end of that,
tactic, right?
If Shane Taylor hits you with the right hand, you're probably going to go down. No matter what's going on, no matter who's against you, Shane Taylor hits you, you might die. But I like this. I like the Infantry. They, of course, interrupted the Grapsody 100 coming soon to a place to watch near you, and they forced me to say that they were the best Ring of Honor champions, Ring of Honor tag team. So shout out to the Infantry. They lost here. They could come back though. Maybe they'll get away from the Max conspiracy, but they probably won't. Max is everywhere.
Well, there you go. You got Smiley coming and saying,
Tracy even knows it. She was there.
Favorite ROH tag team, and why is it the Infantry?
I do like these guys.
He can actually rap. We found that out.
Shout out to Carly Bravo, who can really rap. Not a joke. He says it and stuff. No, but if you listen to him, the guy can really rap, and he just showed you recently. So shout out to Carly. All right, Carly, I'm gonna say it on my show. Y'all are my favorite Ring of Honor tag team right now. On this day, I see clearly that y'all are it.
That was about 24 and a half minutes into the episode thereabouts. So when you guys want to go and clip that and send it to Carly Bravo and Sean Dean, there you go. But Meet Normus giving out a huge honor, saying that Shane Taylor is my meat man of the week.
Yeah, that's well earned.
We do.
Hold on a minute.
We got Collision still to go.
Are you saying just Ring of Honor? Because my big homie did squash somebody on a TV show very recently.
Oh, yeah, Will Hobbs.
I don't know if you can. It's hard to give somebody else the Meat Man of the Week when he did that to Chris Jericho.
It's a very good point. And we've got a crazy match with Samoa Joe tomorrow, or on Collision, rather.
You're right.
Who's he facing?
Willie Mack. Still
Willie
coming.
Mack, that's right.
Still to come.
Okay,
yeah, you're right. Still to come.
So maybe a little preemptive, but I can't argue with it. Shane Taylor looking great here. Finishing someone with the right hand is just a nasty thing to do.
Meat doesn't like squash. When it's the big homie, it's different, Meat Normus.
It's true. It is true. And, we'll see. We'll see. I think Will Hobbs is he's feeling a little more dominant under this Callis family situation. So
Kenny Omega, you're next, big dog. Watch your back.
Poor Kenny. He's been eating a lot of L's. That poor Kenny. Don Callis won't leave him alone. But back here in ROH world, we get Billie Starkz backstage with Mercedes Martinez and Diamante, who interrupt her and tell her it's only a matter of time until Athena turns on her. I really like this development.
Yeah.
I like that two badasses who have a problem with Athena already are both looking out for Billie Starkz, but there's something for them to have a vested interest in.
Mm-hmm.
My only complaint about this, and it's wrestling, so there's no way around this. Why would you interrupt someone in the middle of an interview to tell them that? I know it's wrestling, so this is me nitpicking, but like
when else are they gonna tell her, Kate?
I don't like, and it's ROH, so really you get backstage interviews and in ring and nothing else. But
that's it.
It does feel kind of like, hey, if you're trying to keep a secret, probably not in the middle of an interview. It's the way
they were like, this is our moment right now. Let's go in.
That's it. It's now or never. Now or never. But good stuff here. And then we have Mercedes Martinez with Diamante at ringside defeating Lady Frost. Man, that crucifix dominator on Lady Frost for the pinfall.
Wee.
There is some great women's wrestling on ROH. Great women's wrestling.
It's a lot.
And we've got a lot of great women's wrestling this whole week, and I've been excited about it. What did you think of this backstage that we're getting, and what did you think of this match?
The team of Mercedes and Diamante is awesome. Them just being like OGs that'll tell it like it is and then beat you up and then tell it again like it is after they beat you up. Special stuff. I knew them getting together was going to be good, but it's like even better. Mercedes is so good at wrestling. Her squashes are way different than Athena's, but it's like,
yes,
still a squash though, but it's different than what Athena does. And you think of her in a different way. Both equally badass, but Mercedes is just on some, I'm a vet and you're dead. And so just really good stuff all around. Billie Starkz developing more into her character and maturing in front of our eyes. I think it's all really good. Women's wrestling is on fire, honestly.
Yes, it is, especially on Thursdays, because you got the Impact knockouts on the same night. But
can't compete with them.
No, it's been a really healthy week for women's wrestling, which is cool. Like Raw under Triple H used every healthy woman they had on Monday, except for Nikki Cross, who was on main event. You had Roxanne and Asuka, and the women's breakout tournament had a really good match. And then you had Sheeta winning head-to-head with that. We got this tonight. You got Impact later. Man, it's really nice to feel really good about women's wrestling all week. Like, there's not a lot of times where I get to feel that way. So just good stuff. And Auntie Collins, who we adore, chiming in on this day. She sees clearly that she loves ROH women's storytelling development so much, building the storyline for Athena. I'm into it.
Yes.
I am too. Now, because we can, what happens with Athena? Like, let's play around a little bit, because I want her to be champion forever, but realistically, she's got to drop at some point. It's starting to feel like this might be a story where the student defeats the master at some point, which
I can see it.
Yeah, it doesn't make me mad at all. So for the sake of argument, let's say that's what happens. Where does Athena go next in your eyes?
Up.
Yeah, I agree.
Wednesdays, Saturdays, go on TV. Let her do what she's been doing in Ring of Honor on AEW TV. That's really the only logical explanation for me. But Kate, even here on this episode, we got some more women's developments here later. Willow and Leyla Hirsh. Like, there's some other contenders. Willow is always going to be sitting like right there in the wings, waiting for the opportunity. Like, if she's the one to defeat Athena after the matches that they've had, that's another one that we can kind of get behind. So I don't know.
You know, I really want Willow to have gold, so I like that, but they have gone to that well like 4 times.
They have.
It does also feel like we're hitting a reset button though. So, and
Yeah.
I'm never mad about it because the matches always tear the house down. The first ever women's ROH main event, like there's some really, really good stuff. So I'm not mad about it. I just wish they would have some more consistency with the way that story was going to be told if they're going to be 2 lifelong enemies of each other, right? But they're almost perfect foils because this version of Athena is so dominant and violent.
And the Sports and Things show says Willow goes heel. Maybe Willow goes heel for it. They switch up the dynamics here. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. I mean, she's looking more like Julia Hart got to her, which is some fun stuff that's been happening. So really, really refreshing stuff. So we will move along because we're going to talk about that Willow Nightingale and Leyla Hirsh match. Spoiler alert, freaking ruled.
Oh, yeah.
But before that, we get Josh Woods, who they gave a night off to. Huge bone to pick.
Why?
Josh Woods not being in my ring on a Thursday. He's too damn good. He's not allowed to ever have a night off. But he's with Smart Mark Sterling backstage, and Smart Mark says they need to take the team to the next level, and he secured Josh Woods a coach and introduces Pat Buck into the picture, and Josh Woods rightfully takes offense, in my opinion, and says, I don't need a trainer.
Yeah.
Pat Buck says he doesn't want to train him, and the two are going to face off next week in a Pure Rules match, which is honestly a little weird. No offense to Pat Buck, but this guy's been out here squashing people constantly, and the Pure match that we're giving him for the first time in weeks, this Pat Buck feels odd. Now, Pure Rules are my favorite. If you watch the show, you know that, because there's ways to play around with them. So I'm wondering if he's just going to torture Pat Buck next week. That's kind of what I would book it to be, because going into Shibata at some point, right, you're going to want wins like that in people's heads. But what do you think of Pat Buck Pure Rules?
Yeah, I don't really know what to think of it, because what's the outcome? Woods just beats the crap out of him, and then we're like, okay, he doesn't need a coach, or Pat Buck like out wrestles him and proves that he needs a coach, but he shouldn't out wrestle him though, because he's Josh Woods. It really wouldn't make a lot of sense. So I'm interested to see what they go or how they do this. I am a fan of Pat Buck. I think he could, do some well here, being one of those vets and one of those guys that's behind the scenes and in front of the scenes here on Ring of Honor. That those type of vets always help. So
definitely, he's a big force in the New Jersey independent scene for his work with WrestlePro. They're based in Long Island from the School Point, but about 25 minutes from me. WrestlePro is kind of the other biggest New Jersey based. I can't even really call it GCW Jersey based because they're a touring company, but they're really the stronghold for independent wrestling, as well as some other great ones. But they're a really, really big catalyst for wrestling in the area, and it's built off of Kevin Matthews and Pat Buck. So I'm always happy to see him get opportunities like this. It's just a weird one. Also makes me wonder if they're setting up something else, that maybe Pat Buck brings in somebody else under his wing or something like that. So we will see. But we're going to move on to Willow Nightingale and Leyla Hirsh. This was a bunch of fun, and one of those situations that I love where the loser walks away with a big storytelling piece.
Yep.
Really fun stuff. Willow hits Leyla Hirsh with the babe with the powerbomb. We do get the wrap, which, like, on a scale of 1 to Ian Riccaboni and Caprice, I think Carly Bravo's like a 7. And that's a high mark for Carly. So Willow getting the pinfall here.
We built our Carly stock up, and now it's all the way down. He keeps watching. He's going to listen to my part and be like, yeah, and then he's going to keep watching and be like, what?
Oh, cool. Wait, what? Let's be like, white girls aren't allowed to talk about this shit anymore.
Carly, I tried.
match, we get Leyla attacking Willow after the bell, and Sky Blue comes out and makes the save and super kicks Leyla out of the ring. I think maybe Leyla Hirsh might actually need Maria Kanellis, Reg. I think that's where we're heading with this.
Stories.
And I love that. I think it makes total sense that when she's undefeated, she feels like she doesn't need Maria. And Maria having the wisdom to be like, okay, we'll wait and see. And Leyla now is going to have to go crawling back to her possibly. I think that's a really, really fun story and makes the losses mean something, which is all I want out of pro wrestling, baby. Let's go. What were your thoughts on the match and kind of our outcomes here?
The match was hard. I loved it. They were just fighting. It's the best of both worlds. Layla, the best Leyla you can get. She's trying to throw suplexes. She's gritty. She's grinding. Willow's just the ball of sunshine she always is. Looks great. Trying to take Layla's head off most of the match, just powering her through, pouncing, all kind of stuff. Look, not for nothing, this was the first Caprice rap that I kind of liked. And then they shoot to him, and it shows him reading the rap off of his phone. We talked about, there's one time Drake was on this famously on this Funkmaster Flex freestyle. He has this Blackberry. It's like the Drake Blackberry freestyle. You can't do that. You have to memorize it. And if you can't memorize it, you can't say it. That's cheating.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, I will say we had live commentary. We don't always have live commentary. A little secret trick of the trade. Caprice and Ian are usually taped in post. So the camera doing them no favors today, unfortunately.
Come on, you guys.
Just showing how fraudulent they are.
You're showing the magic.
You are. Carly Bravo.
The match was amazing. Awesome match. There was 2 matches on this show that rocked if you want to go out of your way to see. It's this match and the Sabian and match that we're going to talk about very soon. But this match is awesome.
Agreed. One thing I love about Leyla Hirsh is she's obviously very small. But she never feels small in that ring.
Never.
Like she just is a hard hitting little bowling ball, like just knocking people out. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Great stuff. I hope that they get to run these 2 back at some point ever in the future, just because I feel like they had incredible chemistry too.
They did.
But man, they knew how to work. This was, I'm with you. This match and Anthony Henry and Kip Sabian, absolute show outs. Yeah. Adored it. Matthew Hooks with an interesting question, asking, would Sami Callihan fit in ROH? He's a genius. Man, you know, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that as an environment from him, but I guess I so associate him with Impact. It's actually hard for me to figure out where he would go next. I know Mox is like in his corner. I'm not like the biggest Sami Callihan gal. But just from a taste perspective, I get why he's so valuable in the space. Do you think Sami Callihan in ROH? That's an interesting one.
Yes, the work that he does with Wrestling Revolver, I think that's like the kind of the spirit of what ROH, this kind of ROH could become if he incorporates the elements, that stuff that he does over there. I think, yeah, he'll fit very well in here. Sami Callihan has a lot of fans back there in that AEW locker room. So I would be very surprised if he goes somewhere else, just because how many people back there are just like, Sami Callihan. He's the, like, when he started talking about, you know, not having a contract with Impact anymore, there was a lot of buzz of them being like, we want to get him over here. So if he ends up over there, I'd be like, yeah, of course.
Sure, that makes sense. I almost feel like AEW, just from a presentation standpoint, might be a little bit closer of a connection, but that's just me kind of going off of the flavors that I've seen out of him and the matchup. I don't think him being in ROH feels wrong in any way. But interesting question. I like that.
Pretty good.
Guys, getting your super chats, not your humper chats tonight. I don't have access. My apologies for that. But please leave a thumbs up on this video. We've got the Impact post show coming up around the corner.
Yep.
About 10 after the hour. We've got a little bit more to get through today. Cresta and Joel, we're on the road to Bound for Glory. Some really cool stuff happening on social media with Will Ospreay and Speedball Mike Bailey. The Rascalz defending tonight. The women's picture is always strong. So stick around for that. We've got a lot of good wrestling on Thursdays, which is refreshing to me. And what I'm sure is Reg's match of the night, Action Andretti and Gringo Loco.
I forgot about this one. Oh my God, I forgot about this one.
How could you? How could you? When I know you are basically like your Twitter handle is @RighteousReg, but then your display name says Action Andretti Stan account. I mean, you're like the Sasha stands with Action Andretti.
You keep doing what he did tonight. I'm gonna give me a AA shirt. Not on there. Not Arn Anderson.
This is so. I have kind of mixed feelings with Action Andretti because he was brought in this really cool way with Jericho, and then it never got paid off, and then he got tucked away really, really fast. And it feels like he does have a lot of work to do, maybe on the character side, but he is very impressive athletically in the ring. Yeah, he wins with the split-legged moonsault over Gringo Loco, the base god, as everybody was calling him last week. He is perfect working with guys who have a style like his. I feel like Action Andretti is absolutely perfect for ROH as a singles competitor right now. I think the things that he needs to develop on, this is the perfect place to have some breathing room and get some reps and to discover a little bit more about who he is as a wrestler. This was a fun little match. I have no problems with this. It seems like we're getting clarity around what divisions people are in. And I know it sounds so silly because that feels so fundamental, but God, that's refreshing.
It is. Yeah, this was some spot foo. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Gringo Loco, you know what Gringo Loco is going to do when he has a match? He's going to throw out all the spots. He had a sick inverted angle slam that looked amazing. He did this double springboard diamond cutter thing that was just outrageous. He's really good with it. Action Andretti, I think that Jericho thing, I want to say it was a detriment to him, but I think that just got his foot into the door, so it worked out. That probably should have been somebody else that's more established in the AEW thing, because like, what was the point of all that? Like, Chris Jericho took this loss for whatever, but it got Action Andretti here, and good for him. If he keeps doing stuff like he did in this match with Gringo Loco, though, do it again. Let me see you next week, because this was awesome. He was on fire. He ended it with the shotgun drop kick and a split-legged moonsault. Shout out to RBD. Loved it.
This was really good. Really good, and I feel like maybe now he's on the path that he should be, which is great. We love to see that. And I have been whining for weeks, if not months, about Ethan Page, and here's why. This guy's great. My preference with Ethan Page is that he works as a heel, but he sincerely seems to have a very likable personality, and so I'm not mad about him being a babyface here. He puts over Christopher Daniels hard tonight, but he gives this great promo where he says that he doesn't want to lose in front of Eddie Kingston, and he wants a shot at the Mad King's title. What I love about this is him acknowledging, because last week we got him saying that he hopes Eddie Kingston's watching. He hopes everybody's watching. Him putting some immediate weight behind this of like, I don't want Eddie Kingston to see me lose, even though this isn't a contendership match. Just simple little things like that make wrestling feel so much more important. And I adored that. Let's skip ahead to the match on this one, because this was some good stuff. We do have Ethan Page hitting Christopher Daniels with the Ego's Edge, which looks awesome for the pinfall. And then post-match, we get Tony Nese coming out. And Ethan Page is just great at getting from point A to point C. Can be tricky for some people. He is great at point B. Like, he can get you from one place to where you need to go really, really well on the mic. We got Smart Mark and Tony Nese coming out on stage. Sterling trying to recruit Ethan Page into the faction, but he's doing it in this very kind of sneaky, backhanded way. Ethan Page asks the audience, and it's an overwhelming no. And he says, sounds like a hard no to me, douchebag. And I popped, because that's just fun. We get Nee saying that his answer is irrelevant because he doesn't even want him anyway. There's some bickering back and forth about group training in this, but ultimately Page kind of coerces Nese tricks him into a match next week. I assume that'll be a glorified squash. Tony Nese is there to eat the pin in this, but Then Ethan Page puts over Christopher Daniels super, super hard, and I love that. Like, seemed like a genuine show of respect. He's just very engaging on the mic and in such a ring-heavy product. I really like him kind of waking you up with some of his just like candid nature. I thought this was a perfectly great use of Christopher Daniels, and I thought Ethan Page continues to be on this roll. I like what we're getting. What were your thoughts?
Ethan Page has me conflicted right now. He's so good at being in this position that he's in right now. He's really good on the mic. I've said it before, like he's one of the best when it comes to just speaking of promo, getting somebody to want to see a match, getting people into him. And I'm glad he's getting the opportunity here. The match was awesome. The Eagle's Edge looked incredible. It looks even better with bigger guys, and Chris Daniels is kind of a bigger guy. It's like, maybe he can't do it to him, and then he does it to me. Like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Damn, yeah.
Ethan Page, big guy. But we've seen in the main event of this show, there's a guy that has a little to do with Ethan Page, and I'm like, they might be stronger together as a tag team. So that's why I'm conflicted, because I'm loving what Ethan Page is doing right now, and the Eddie Kingston match is going to be awesome. But like, man, maybe get Men of the Year back together, because like, that was really good. They should have never broken up. You should have just got Dan Lambert the hell out of there, and we should have kept going. But like, maybe that's where we're going here.
I agree with you. I love the two of them together. And I feel like Ethan Page could be a solo star, but I feel like Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page together was a specific type of magic. And if it's magic they wanted to revisit, I'm not mad about that at all.
Right.
Not mad about that at all. Good stuff here. We got such a good episode tonight. It makes me very happy. Continuing with the good stuff, we get Billie Starkz with Athena defeating Rochelle Riveter, I believe was her name. Billie Starkz locking in the crossface for the win. Billie's great, man. We get Mercedes and Diamante attacking Athena as well, and Billie Starkz from behind on the ramp, which I really, really liked, because there's kind of intrigue with that, right? Like what we saw earlier in the night to what we got here, I thought was really good. Shout out to Billie Starkz, who just won. Oh my gosh, what was the tournament that got put together?
Wrestling Revolver.
Revolver
what's it called? The women's. It was great. We should have it with exactly what it is, because it was awesome.
I want to say the Super 8, but that's not what it is. That's
no, it's not the Super 8. And double shout out to Billie Starkz. Sorry, look at me. Who also just won the Sparks Joshi world title out there. She is having a great week, my people.
She is. It's really incredible to see how much she's taken off. And
Grand Prix.
Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Thank
you, Shane Monster.
Thank you, Shane Monster. Good stuff here. Me Norma said, I think this was in reference to Action Andretti and Gringo Loco. My foo, you foo. Spot foo. Me loves it. Well, we know Reg loves it. See, we didn't even get any tech or bullshit, and I loved this episode. So that tells you how strong this was, because I didn't even get like a pure match.
Well, they gave you Eddie Kingston, Anthony Henry, and Ethan Page, so they knew what they were doing.
They did, and we're perfect segue into Kip Sabian and Anthony Henry here. This was fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
I loved this. We get Kip Sabian beating Anthony Henry with the Deathly Hallows, but man, we're the ones that won with this match. This was awesome. This was awesome. They just had whatever that it thing is that wrestlers talk about chemistry-wise. Had it in spades. Holy hell. This was in a week of some really great wrestling. Just a match of the week contender. Like, honest to God, this was so good. It was everything Kip Sabian does really well. It was everything Anthony Henry does well. He had Penelope Ford and JD Drake at respective corners for this too, doing what they do. I thought this was fantastic. I love Kip Sabian. I feel like everybody has a lot of really positive things to say about, which is good to hear. We don't see him featured a lot, but it does, I think, mean that maybe in the future we will. And this is what ROH is for, right? So I loved that. Sounds like you did too.
Yes, this was, I don't know what it was about this. Just like you said, something clicked. I could feel it from the intro. Like, Anthony Henry had a certain swag about him coming out. I don't know what it was. I'm like, something's different about Anthony Henry. Kip Sabian is really underrated. Like he was, really inaugural part of the early AEW stuff, and just kind of got lost away with the injury, and he did the box on the head thing. But like, ring the bell, and this guy got it. And this match was exactly showing that this guy got it. When Anthony Henry has a match, it feels like a fight. Like it's like,
yes,
you don't know, like the other guy sometimes like, oh, should I know that what this was, what it was going to be. But Kip Sabian knew what it was going to be. He like was just hovering, just on top of every moment, getting everything he was doing. That moonsault he did to the outside that he caught JD Drake was crazy. Like they both splatted so hard. This match was just like the definition of what Ring of Honor has represented since 2002. This match would have rocked in Ring of Honor 2002. This match would have rocked in Ring of Honor 2012. And this match tore it down in Ring of Honor 2003. If you need to watch one match from the show, watch that match. These brothers were fighting.
They were. And I guess that's a common thread with a lot of the wrestlers I like, because Eddie has that too, that thing that Anthony Henry has that you said, where it just feels like a fight. Like tonight they came out to fight, and this was awesome stuff. And I love that we're talking about a potential match of the week contender, or up there in the top 5 probably, and it's Anthony Henry and Kip Sabian, like people that maybe aren't necessarily on kind of the mainstream radar. So just good stuff, and I feel like a testament to what ROH does best when it's clicking. So that means we're clicking, baby.
Yep,
I like it. Well, we closed out the night with Scorpio Sky and Darius Martin with the Scorpio Sky win, hitting the TKO on this. This was another one that I thought was really, really strong.
Rock too.
This did. Yeah, we got a lot of fantastic in-ring tonight. Scorpio Sky and Darius Martin, fun in that way where the things that are similar about them worked well, and the things that are different about them are very different, I feel like, stylistically. So when those things smush together, it usually makes for a really fun match. Minor complaint, you did have 2 world champions on your show tonight, which is the good thing.
They just don't want them the main event.
Yeah, why don't
that's
we
just
want
the thing.
this the main event? Well, and I get it from the live experience, because the way that they tape things is so weird, but I don't understand it from the editing experience.
Yeah.
The women's one is a little bit trickier from the perspective of you had so much story that you kind of needed to sequence things a certain way. So I get that, but Eddie Kingston's first appearance in ROH as champion partner. How are we not closing the show? So little things like that, but no complaints about the match itself. Like it wasn't that didn't feel main event worthy. It's just that we have titles around for a change. Maybe that's what it was. They're like, oh, we never have to worry about that because we never got champions around.
Exactly. That's a rare problem we run into. But this match was great. They told the story about how these guys are so similar, but they didn't even tell the real parallel, you guys. Both these guys used to wear masks. They used to be mask wrestlers. Scorpio Sky used to wear a mask back in SoCal Wrestling, back in PWG, when I first saw Scorpio Sky, he was the masked black guy. Back in my 2003, way back then, 20 years ago now, which is crazy to think about. He was the masked black guy. He was cool. Darius Martin started out as Airwolf, also wearing a mask, took it off to join AEW, to join his brother. So like their connections and their parallels are really, really even more similar than they told on the show. And it showed here in the match, as it was an awesome match. They, the things that they are similar on, you could see them really well here. But Scorpio Sky is a veteran. He knows a lot more. Like I said, I saw him 20 years ago. That's why he got the victory here. But Man of the Year, I think that's what I'm getting at. I was like, this match is awesome, but Man of the Year, we need it.
Yeah, they were a fantastic duo with that. I wouldn't mind seeing that, and I would like to see that in ROH too, if we had tag champions that were going to be around. But the two of them together was really, really fun. And let's also not forget, they kind of merged into a tag team, but they just started as an alliance. They were not a tag team. They just had each other's backs for a while and then eventually formed one. And I love relationships like that, especially in environments that tend to be
being a white woman that likes pumpkin spice coffee. She loves seeing a relationship from the inception to the end. It's a romantic comedy on TV.
It's a rom-com. It's like the Ethan Page Wears Prada. You know what I mean? It's just nice. Man, you went hard on that. You were like,
I loved it. Okay, we haven't been on a podcast since we saw each other live in person in Seattle. That was awesome.
That was really awesome. And I was thinking about that because I had so much fun with you at Wrestle Dream, but I had said on a different show, I was like, there is nobody more fun to sit next to at a show than you, because you were just so in it. It was so much fun.
What a show to be like.
What a show.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm cool. I'm not. But then like if the wrestling takes over me, it's taking over me. There's nothing I could do. When Edge came out, Kate, it's crazy. I'm not even the
You were March for Monty.
Yeah, I'm like not even the hugest Edge fan. I mean, TLC is like my favorite WWE match ever and stuff. So there is some connection, but I don't know. When he came out, it was like, yo, I'm out of body right now.
Yeah, no, it was just it was and continues to be very weird to think of Metalingus not played in a WWE context. Like hearing that hit was just like
insane.
Almost disorienting, but
yeah.
Watching you rock out to that was real fun. And
so fun.
Speaking of rocking out, we're going to pass it along to Joel and Cresta to rock the Impact post show. We'll bring them on here. Hello.
Hi, what is happening? My life is in shambles.
You have a beautiful basement going on here. Look at that apartment.
I'm back in Sean Ross Sapp's basement.
Hey.
You look gorgeous. Hello.
I gotta do something.
Stop, you look beautiful. It's so rare we see you without a mustache.
I know. I'm trying to do the heterochromia thing where like one eye is the other, but this eye looks like I got beat up by Ronda Rousey, and this eye looks like Becky Lynch's makeup artist did my makeup. So, you know.
I always say that about Joel's makeup too, honestly.
Championship look, they say, Cresta.
Listen, it can't be worse than it can't be worse than Becky Lynch saying, I need new hair. This is it can't be worse than that. Becky can take the piss out of herself. I'm going to do it too. So I need a new makeup artist. She needs a new hair artist. We can help each other, sis.
Right there.
I do drag. You got access to money. What's up?
There you go.
Recipe for success.
Guys, we had like a really good Ring of Honor. It makes me uncomfortable almost. It was great.
Finally.
It's like
Impact
Impact flew by. Okay.
Well, yeah. When you give us a 90-minute main event, or not 90, sorry, a 30-minute main event.
What match was this, Joel?
2 out of 3 falls. Frankie Kazarian and Edward Edwards.
What?
It was a killer Impact match. Okay, here's the thing. The match.
Sometimes I'm like, wow, Impact sounds really strong, and then it'll be like PCO ate somebody.
Said Frankie Kazarian, Eddie Edwards. Why are they wrestling for 30 minutes on a Thursday night? What the hell is going on here? I like those guys a lot, but yo, come on, dude. What are we doing?
Here's the thing. I will probably say this again. The match was really good. Okay, much better than it had any business being. Also, if it means that we don't get this match at Bound for Glory, then I think we win.
Okay.
Fair.
So that's the optimist in me will lead with that. The match was good. And I sat there and I was just like, are they really going to give me a half hour of this shit? And then I was like, no, they gave me a half hour of this shit. And you know what?
Not bad.
It's fine. It worked.
Okay, I'm not mad at it. I see what they're doing.
Yeah, they did.
But that's crazy though. Regardless of anything, that's crazy. That's a Billy Corgan.
I was watching.
That's a Pumpkin Man for sure.
With a bunch of friends, and we just started doing shots of Jack Daniels. So the match was fine to me because I'm having a great time watching Impact this evening. And the bar is in hell. My friends are like, "Don't you have to go to work?" I'm like, "If Sean Ross Sapp can come in here and smoke marijuana, I can have an alcoholic beverage before work." Okay,
that is correct.
Boom.
The bar is
Bobby the Brain Heenan, one of the greatest commentators of all time, was drunk for every broadcast. They said.
Right. I'm going to start freebasing every morning on In the Weeds.
Whoa, hey!
Oh, there has to be a line, Joel.
Joel, you know what? Everybody having a rough week, so cheers to that. Hey, street profit.
Hey, and I saw your tweets too, Cresta. Condolences for all that you're going to. That sounds very rough.
Yeah, we love you.
Sending love out to you, friend.
Everybody in the chat, send hearts to Cresta, please.
Yes.
I will say this to everyone: check on your friends, love your friends, and it is very important that your toughest friend ain't so tough.
Straight up,
and they shouldn't have to be. They certainly shouldn't have to be. So
also send all your love letters to @Joel Pearl because Joel Pearl's the man.
Joel Pearl is
okay.
He is
the biggest heel in the business, but we love him.
fine.
Steve Macklin's still on his ass, but we love him.
It's true.
I might have to become friends with Bully Ray now. So
whoa!
I know.
All right,
Joel's
we're
been
outta
talking
here.
crazy. Yeah, I'm like, Joel's been talking
Like,
crazy on this stream ever since he came on. Bully Basin, Bully Ray, like, yo.
That's what it is. This is what I do now.
Next thing you know, Joel's like, I'm going into business for myself.
I'm saying, y'all enjoy
all
it.
this love.
Man's crazy.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Look at all this love in the chat. We love that. We love that.
appreciate you, Jeff.
Hey,
Thanks.
I'm gonna plug some shit before I get out of here.
Oh, we're not out of here. Okay.
I am starting to put content on my own YouTube. So go to @MissKateFabe on YouTube, and I'm just doing a weekly recap, and it's been nice. Just a high level weekly recap called This Week in Wrestling. Last week was all about Wrestle Dream and how rad that was. This week we talked a little bit about the MJF promo. And I think we did all right. With it. I very much acknowledge that I am a white middle-class girl who has no right to speak on representation, but I think we talked about it from a high enough level that there's a lot of empathy in this world that needs to go around. And if you want to support, there are some donation links that are in the description of that. So a couple of places you can donate to and check it out. But if you could like my videos or subscribe over there, that would mean the world to me. Because we're gonna try and keep that going. I didn't know if I was gonna make it a weekly thing, but here we are. And you never know, maybe Mansoor will show up there.
Yeah.
So let me get my thing off to Phil and I interview Swerve this week. Go check out that. That's a really good interview. And grapsity.bigcartel.com. We got them Grapsity hats. Get you a Grapsity hat. It's really dope.
They're really cool looking.
Yeah, they're good. Hey, Kate, are we working on Sunday?
I'm working all the time, brother. But yeah.
Yes.
I don't got nothing to plug, but I want to plug something. I'm going to House of Glory tomorrow, so it's gonna be my first indie show.
All right.
And Minoru Suzuki's gonna
baby.
be there.
Let's
It's gonna
go.
be
Shout out to the
Murder
Hog
Grandpa. I'm so
You see
excited.
Amazing Red say, give Righteous Reg an interview. I know you never do interviews, but he wants to interview you so bad, Amazing Red.
Honestly,
That's very high up there.
Amazing Red is someone that I hear about in wrestling echoes and whispers, but you gave us Code Red. So Amazing Red, yes.
The
You
goat.
and Melina need more shout outs and shine than y'all get. So boop, 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 boop.
Straight up.
I love that Reg is like, yeah, get me that interview. And Cresta's like, I'm taking Jack right now on this stream.
Yeah.
Hey, let her have some fun at her indie show. She's not working tomorrow.
Listen,
Work for me.
not Caitlin. I'm sorry. Kate, like you said, from the moment I wake up, I'm working. Call me Jeff Jarrett. I'm working.
Now I'm leaving.
Kate over here.
When the Brew goes off, I'm out of here.
World. Thank you guys.
We're out. We're out of here. Have fun. Have fun talking some Impact.
Let's go.
I am so excited to talk about wrestling.
Me too. I'm also stuck in the middle with Kate, who's had internet issues.
Stuck in the middle with you.
I'm removing her, and I'm gonna fix my shit. How you doing, Cresta?
I have been better, but I will say wrestling is a gift.
Yes.
Friday, or was it Mondays? It was Monday's Raw. Honestly, the memes, you can't make that up. I'm very grateful for wrestling in this moment. And I will say tonight blew by for Impact. I feel like I have no notes. And when I said, let me start taking notes, it was 9:58.
Well, that's usually what happens when you start drinking in the middle of the show.
Wow. First of all, I'm a very professional. You know, roll the goddamn tape.
Hold on. Just kidding. I'm not gonna do a genre as I'm Adri. We and I was sponsor on the show.
That would be too funny. Too funny.
Oh my goodness. Judging Joel. The good part is that none of this will make the final cut. Anyway,
this is for you guys who are live. That's what you get for supporting the channel, and we love y'all for doing so.
And the video people, let's face it.
True.
Audio people get like me starting the show. Speaking of which, are you ready to go?
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd like to be in bed eventually. Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. It's October 12th, 2023. Ooh, spooky day tomorrow. It's Friday the 13th. All right, let's go. Well, today's Thursday the 12th. It's October the 12th, and it's time for your Impact Wrestling Post Show. I am Actual Pearl, and of course, I have welcoming back this week the wonderful and fantastic Collider herself, the Cresta Starr of Glory. Hello, Cresta Starr.
Hi. Also want to give a big shout out to SP3. I saw you here filling my boots. Something, you can't lace my boots. Something. No, I'm kidding. I met SP3 in real life. He is so nice. Yeah, I'm back, baby. I won't be here for Collision. Sorry, but I'll be back for the rest of the month. I promise I'll be here like an absentee father.
Wow. So not at all?
I mean, I'll show for birthdays and graduations. That's what's important.
That's true. And what's also important is leaving a thumbs up here on the video and subscribing to us here on youtube.com/Fightful and supporting us at FightfulSelect.com. We're going to talk about that. But tonight we talk about Impact Wrestling as we do next Saturday is Bound for Glory, Cresta Starr.
This week is rolling by. This month is just...
Yes, steamrolling, just running through. We're going to be here on that Saturday, the 21st. We're going to be talking about Bound for Glory. We're going to be talking about it with Cresta, and we're going to be talking about it with Steven Jensen. We're all going to be here running down a very, very fun card, which you and I will probably talk more about next week as we get to that final show. But it looks like, listen, there is a lot of really cool stuff coming up. I am incredibly confused by whatever Impact's taping schedule is going to be after they leave the UK. Because I went looking the other day, I saw they're coming to, so they're doing the UK shows, okay? They're going to do Turning Point. They're going to record some of that stuff there. Then they come to Toronto November 11th, but they're doing the IPWF stuff, which is their throwback. And they're going to do the Throwback Throwdown. And they're going to air that on Access as well, which means if they're doing that, you and I are not doing post shows for that time frame because I don't do Throwback. I'm
not gonna hold you. I enjoy watching the throwback clips, but if I had the option,
it does nothing in the Impact storytelling. So if it doesn't, there's no reason for us to be there. But my question is, where are the tapings? Where are we? How are we getting to things? Because Final Resolution is at the beginning of December. That's in Toronto. Other than that, up until we don't know, Hard to Kill is sometime in January. There are a lot of holes, but they're going to the UK. There will be other tapings, I'm sure, that get announced here and there. It's just a very interesting time for Impact. But getting to Bound for Glory, that's next week. How are you feeling, especially after tonight's show? Overall thoughts and excitement for next Saturday?
So full transparency, I did not see last week's Impact. I didn't watch it at all. So when I was watching BTI, seeing Tasha Steelz pin Killer Kelly, that big multi-man tag match, so that you had your Jordan Grace tonight, was quite nice. I am excited for Bound for Glory. However, I will say that this episode in particular of Impact was very much a setup episode. I'm excited for Bound for Glory, but this episode in particular did not make me excited. I feel like next week is really going to be the week where it's like, oh yeah, because Bound for Glory, if it's not that Saturday, it's that following Saturday. No, it is that Saturday. So next week, I think, is really where we're going to see things take off. I'm not upset about tonight's show because you don't want to go all out straight up until you're Bound for Glory, one of your biggest pay-per-views. But yeah, like tonight, I don't have anything besides that.
I get it. Tonight felt a little bit filler. Like I was saying, during the crossover, we talked about the main event, right? They ended up doing the Edward Edwards versus Frankie Kazarian 2 out of 3 falls match. And I said, on one hand, this 30+ minute main event does nothing for me. On the other hand, this is a match that we won't have to see at Bound for Glory, and a story that's finally going to reach its conclusion tonight, and we won't have to talk about it again, because again, there is a fan base who likes this story, and the match tonight I think was very good, and we'll talk about it as we get through the show. But overall, I just kind of came off saying like, okay, we're done. Let's move on, right? Let's go.
I thought that the best bookend for this Frankie Kazarian Eddie Edwards match was the Killer Kowalski match. I thought that was a great bookend. That was way to end it. And I feel like what they did in this match, they could have did in that match, and that would have been better. Yeah. I agree with you in that statement of at least this isn't on Bound for Glory, because taking nothing away from Bound for Glory, that card is stacked, and that's a long card already. So woof, 2 out of 3 falls. Hell on earth.
I mean, it's a full card. I'm looking at it right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's a stacked card.
That's 7 matches plus the Call Your Shot gauntlet plus the Impact Hall of Fame stuff, which is usually relegated to the pre-show. I'm sure 1 or 2 of these matches might make pre-show, but yeah. Oh, the I guess the Digital Media Championship match might also be a. Anyway, regardless, it is a stacked card for Bound for Glory. I don't know how it's going to shake out, but looking at what we're seeing, the inductions are going to be on Countdown, and they might do another match or 2. But other than that, it is a very stacked show for Bound for Glory, and some stuff got moved forward. But honestly, a lot of this was just matches for matches' sake.
Yeah, and I feel like there are some people, like if we take the first match between Sami Callihan and Rich Swann, and the Rascalz, for example, I personally felt like when that was announced, like, come on now, I think the Rascalz are winning, knock it off, because it's really the ABC versus the Rascalz storyline. But Sami Callihan and Rich Swann are such a good team that you could believe that, okay, these guys might have a chance. It might throw a wrench. It might be a triple threat. But outside of that, like you said, it just matches for matches' sake if you weren't on the card for Bound for Glory. Jake Something looked nice tonight, and we had a debut, so it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, well, we'll go to the Sami Callihan thing real quick. SB3 and I talked about it last week. You're announcing this match, and I get it that these are all taped, so you don't know exactly what's happening between now and then. But you know, Fightful Selected reported shortly after the tapings for this round that Sami was going to be a free agent, and we didn't know if he was going to re-sign with Impact Wrestling. And then they announced that this match was happening, but Sami had already said, I'm a free agent and I'm done as of this date. And that date has come and gone because it was the end of September. So we really just walked into this match saying like, okay, yeah, no, we know that Sami and Swann are losing. So now we just have to look forward to a good match, I guess. And it was pretty much the send-off for Sami. He took the pin tonight, and we'll talk about the match in a few minutes, but that was one thing where I'm sitting here like, that's the downfall to having a taped show.
Yeah.
Is that sometimes you're just like, you're bound by the circumstances of being taped, and sometimes contracts let up and they end and the news gets out. In this case, it was Sami who had let it out that he's done, and Fightful Selected had reported, he's probably done. And then he was like, nah, I'm done. Like,
he's like, there's no probably, baby girl. I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly. Doc sends us a super chat kicking us off. I have no idea what you're talking about, but Joel is wrong. Well, we'll see.
Wow.
JK, you guys are great. Cresta, your hair is awesome. Joel, yours is cromulent. Thank you. I need to get a haircut though. Have fun. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. Doc is a regular on our Fightful Select pre-shows for a lot of our pay-per-views, so check that out over on FightfulSelect.com. And also, if you want to get into super chats, you can. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. We'll talk about it. And of course, you can go over to humperchats.com and do the other thing. Cresta can tell you how.
So I have debated on giving you guys a Tony Storm version of Pip Pip. Come on, put your dollars in the Humper Chat, the humperchats.com, but I don't know if I can keep that up. So humperchats.com, much like your super chats here over on YouTube, you put your dollar amount in, you put your comment in, myself and Joel will give you our 2 cents and we'll move on. But the great thing about humperchats.com is we get to keep more than the 2 cents. You give your 2 cents, we keep more than 2 cents, and everybody's a winner except Pete Wentz. I'm a rapper. Humperchats.com.
I mean, Pete Wentz was the one who got the pin. Anyway, not important.
Pete Wentz is a singer.
I know, Fall Out Boy. I know.
Sorry, thank you. Well, we got there.
Eventually, it just takes time. And also was pointed out in the chat that they're also doing the tapings in Mexico, and that's another one where I'm like, okay, but what is it? So,
what are we taping there?
It's a really strange. Again, just that whatever they're doing to finish out the year is like giving me pause. And I know that there was the report that they're going to be upgrading production facilities, and that's great. And I hope that Impact gets the opportunity to do that. But I'm like, okay, well, now what? Like, it's going to be a bare bones. Cresta, we might have a very boring winter, not winter, but fall into the new year for Impact.
My goodwill and faith in Impact is so high that unless you legitimately do another Wrestle House, and Wrestle House wasn't bad until the end, unless you do that, I'm going to be sports entertained. I'm going to be honest with you, Chief.
It's going to be
I may complain, but don't stop.
It's going to be Wrestle House, but it's going to be at Scott D'Amore's house.
You mean Sean Ross Sapp's basement?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what Scott D'Amore's house looks like, by the way. I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyway, speaking of questionable issues, George Iceman is here over on BTI. And by the way, shout out to George. He still calls it Twitter. He tells people to go follow him on Twitter. I appreciate that, George. You're a good man in my book. He talks about the 2 out of 3 Falls main event, said he was hearing Eddie Edwards kicking and screaming while he was on the phone, but he didn't know who he was talking to or what it was about. And then says, wherever the Edwardses go, shenanigans follow. I love it.
It's true.
That's true. The match on BTI, I should say. Alan Edwards. Wow. We're off to a great start.
Are you drunk?
I've been up and moving since like 6:30. Okay, I'm done. Alan Angels takes on Laredo Kid. And Cresta Starr, I ask you one question. What do luchadors do best in Impact Wrestling?
Yo, that's crazy because I was sitting in Applebee's looking at this on my phone, and my boyfriend is like, you don't need to take notes? I said no, because if there's something that luchadors are going to do in Impact Wrestling, that's going to lose. They're going to lose. Joel said it, and at first like, that's not true, Joel. And after you said it the first time, I thought, there was no need for me to watch the match. I saw the match. The Radio Kid got some offense in, but we all knew what was going to happen.
The balls on this company that after Bound for Glory, they're going to run an entire like Hispanic Heritage Month segment tape, whatever it is. They're going to have a bunch of luchadors, including Conan. Conan's not going to wrestle, but he's going to appear. They're running all of these luchadors, and I'm like, I hope they face each other, because if you have them facing your regular run-of-the-mill champion or regular run-of-the-mill roster members, ain't none of them gonna win.
Honestly, at this point, the only way all could be forgiven is if Black Taurus for Hispanic Heritage Month is champion. That's the only way all is going to be forgiven, because he should have been your X Division champion. I haven't forgiven you for that. I haven't forgiven you for that.
And you can't do it either, because next week Crazy Steve is going to beat the shit out of Black Taurus. Let's face it.
Bro, yo, when I saw the flashback to Crazy Steve literally putting a fork in Tommy Dreamer's ass.
Oh, that's right. You didn't see that. So, Cresta, I need you to remember one very important thing. Do you remember? Did you watch Dynamite on that Wednesday or that week?
Not this Tuesday Madness, right?
No. The Wednesday before.
I don't think.
So that was the Adam Copeland comes out, does his whole long spiel, and then Christian Cage gives them the big hug.
I saw that, and that was it.
And he says, "Go fuck yourself."
Yes.
So we called last week's episode "Go Fork Yourself."
Yeah, tracks. Because then they cut to it, and you literally see the fork sticking out of Tommy Dreamer's ass. Stick a fork in.
Oh, stick a fork in him, he's done. So anyway, Alan Angels and Laredo Kid had a match. All you need to know is that Angels distracts the referee with the wrist tape, hangs up Kid on the ropes, hits him with the Angels wings, gets the win. Alan Angels is back in the win book, and he has a new theme song. It's fine. I'm interested in seeing what they do. I need him to make more Nickelback references. That's all I need.
Look at this graph.
It's still funny. Main show opens up with the tag team titles. Sami Callihan, Rich Swann team up for the last time on Impact Wrestling for now. They're going to take on the Rascalz for those tag titles. It's a good match. You know what? Sami does a few things, but really it's mostly Rich Swann who was just on one. He was absolutely having the match of the night. Great work. Fresh shave, so you know he's doing it. Any commentary
Called that out too. When he shaves, you know it's real.
Yeah, that's how you know he's serious. I'm like, I'm gonna take that. They do a really unique 4-way bulldog clothesline spot that I thought was really good. But at the end of the day, Rascalz retain. Hot fire flame from both members onto Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan gets pinned on the way out. Bye Sami, and Rascalz retain. What do you think of the match?
I think this is the first time in a long time I've seen the Rascalz cheating backfire on them. They cheated and it backfires into Wentz getting a Cactus Driver 97, but it was only a 2 count. But right after that, as sure as Lucha Libres, luchadors. Wow, my brain said nope. That's it. I don't care. I'm not speaking. As sure as luchadors lose on Impact, somebody's getting punched in the dick. Because that's exactly what happened. This match was good. I personally think the Rascalz are better than cheating. And I felt the same way about FTR. And yes, I'm putting that into the universe. I would love to see the Rascalz versus FTR. But it makes sense in the confines of their character. I had the feeling they were going to win. And then you were right, Sami Callihan leaving. It makes sense. But I do think this was a showcase for Rich Swann. So I hope he goes somewhere with this. I wouldn't mind seeing Rich Swann in the conversation of X Division, World. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a conversation again. Because him, like Eddie Edwards, is a staple in Impact Wrestling.
Yeah. I would like to see Edwards with a group of people. Run a stable. Not going against the design or anything like that. I want to see them.
Not like Honor No More.
No. I want to see Rich Swann with a group of people.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
I want to see him put together a group of wrestlers and be like, we are, whatever, we're a collective from whatever it is, because I've seen so much out of Rich Swann, especially in Impact, right? We've seen him with the X Division title. We've seen him with the World title. Like, it's time to do something different. I don't know what it is. A character change of some sorts.
Him with Gresh, because Gresh looks like he's about to be on his bullshit, and I don't think I've ever seen Rich Swann be that kind of heel. I've seen him be heel-ish, but he's been so much babyface, so I wouldn't mind him being like, well, even if I do the right thing, it's wrong, so it's might as well time to do the wrong thing, and who else would do it with somebody who's going to do the wrong thing? So that's no me, that's Gresham. I can see that.
Yeah, no, you hit it. That's the one. I want to see Gresham and Swann, and whoever else joins that group. Could be Angels for all I know. It could just
Dirty
be
Dango.
No, Dango is going to be just fine. We'll talk about that in a minute. But
we'll beat the you hate wrestling out of you. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's a good idea. I like the idea of Swann joining up with that group. But like the only thing is that I really wanted Swann to lead it. But if it's Gresham, I don't know. But that's the group I would like to see. I
can see them being equals, not so much. Yes. Kind of like the Judgment Day, how Rhea Ripley's kind of the leader, but kind of not. I could see that being that way. And I think that in the confines of Impact Wrestling, Rich Swann and Jonathan Gresham have that kind of respect for each other. Gresham clearly don't got that respect for a speedball, but he has that he might have that respect for Rich Swann. We'll see. That remains to be seen.
I like the idea of Swann and Gresham sharing the leadership, mostly because Impact fans know Swann really well.
Yes.
He's been around for a long time. He's been on top. They know Gresham from outside, but they don't know him. Like the connection's not there, but they know Gresham. So there's something there that they can work on. So that could work, but let's keep going. Kenny King, Sheldon Jean, there's two other people who probably won't join that group. Kenny King saying he can't find Scott D'Amore or Santino anywhere. He wants his contractually obligated rematch for the Digital Media Championship, and now they have a Heath problem. And so King challenges Heath to a match and says the sins of the father will leave your damn kids broke. I loved that line. King and Heath is fine. They're going to do it next week. It's a good match for Kenny King. Hopefully pick up a big win. Sheldon Jean is there, and I'm still waiting for the commencement of the Sheldon Jean train. What do you think of this?
Kenny King is right. And when he was in Honor No More, they couldn't go left or right without Scott D'Amore saying, I hate you guys. Like literally just coming to the screen like Joe Hendry. I hate you guys. Get out of this company. When he called him Tubby Dreamer, I audibly laughed. When he said this man was eating beans, there's a famous sound clip of a guy yelling at a man in a movie theater saying, this guy is eating beans. And that's the first thing I thought of. Like, Kenny King just said, this man eating beans. This was a solid promo. And Sheldon G, we got work on you talking, baby, because woof. Kenny King, let this man talk. Or maybe I see why you don't.
He's young. He's figuring it out. He will. Just put him back on Big Brother Canada. He'll get there. Anyway, King's backstage with Gia Miller. And this turned into a really good segment. So Kylan King says Jody Threat attacked Taylor Wilde with the tire iron. And that was kind of the impetus of Kylan King and Jody Threat no longer being a tag team. And then Santino walks in, and for once, he says something smart. Says, He does. Says Dr. Ross, who, by the way, I hope has some interviews for me for Bound for Glory week for In the Weeds, just hinted, said he told Santino and only Santino that the weapon used in the attack of Taylor Wilde was the tire iron. And then Kylan King is like, all right, yep, you got me. I did it. Taylor Wilde was dead weight when they lost the Knockouts tag titles. And she says, no longer is it long live the Coven. It's now long live the King. And at that point, I was expecting Kenny King to show up and just be like, what'd you say? What
Bro, when she said that, and when Santino showed up, he was just looking for you, Santino. And then you're in the next segment. Honestly, at this point, Kylan King got to come out with Kenny King's music because that would hit Long Live the King. Long Live the King.
I would love a partnership between Kylan King and Kenny King where they're like half brother and sister, or maybe they're just brother and sister. I don't give a shit.
Bully Ray and Devon Dudley.
You know what? Bully and Devon were brothers in wrestling. King and King, Sheldon and Kylan can easily be siblings together in Impact. And no one would bat a damn eye.
Sheldon's name is Sheldon Gene.
They'll call him Sheldon Gene King.
That's their son, the adopted son.
There you go.
They can change their music to the Kingdom, and then Cody Rhodes will show up on it. What is Cody Rhodes doing in the Impact Zone?
Cody Rhodes just shows up wherever he wants. That's just how it goes.
That's true.
Tex Baker sends us a super chat saying, 1, love for Cresta. 2, Rich Swann is an amazing heel. I can confirm that, by the way. He was in a heel group with Myron Reed and Jordan Oliver in MLW around 2019-ish. He was such a jerk. I do remember that, by the way. And that is something that Rich Swann just hasn't done that in Impact. And I want to see what that heel grouping would look like for Rich Swann.
I would like to see it too. Myron Reed, that was the 4th illegitimate child of the Rascalz, right?
Myron Reed is the 3rd/4th Rascal. Yeah, and he, by the way, is going to be at the tapings in Chicago. So the Rascalz, the 3 of them, because the 4th is Wesley in NXT. So the 3 of those Rascalz are going to be teaming up together. I think they're facing luchadors in Chicago.
I do want to bring attention really quick. I see in chat, A-Shock is saying another women's tag team split upside. I thought the same thing too. I had complained about this a couple of weeks ago. Like, my problem with the Knockouts women's division, that is like, it's kind of giving, okay, you're going to group up together. If you get a name, great. You're in the money. But also, unless you're about to win the titles or go for the titles, you become a Franken team and then you break up. I like the Coven. I can only surmise that Taylor Wilde might be injured for a little bit longer. Then they don't want to keep Kylan King waiting for Taylor Wilde to come back, which I think is smart. So. And
it gives a ready-made feud when Taylor Wilde is ready to come back.
That's true. And that's what in the chamber, as the Utes say.
Yeah, and it was a good tag team. And so there's a few different mindsets. Yeah, it's yes, another women's tag team gets broken up. However, we don't know the extent of the injury to Taylor Wilde. She's certainly not booked on any local indies in my neck of the woods, which is where Taylor is based. And on top of that, you've got Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz, who just formed a tag team as well. So it's kind of like addition by subtraction in the Knockouts tag division.
And I'm not good at math.
Me neither. It's wrestling. Jake Something, Eric Young, Jordan Grace, Champagne Singh, and Dirty Dango have a 5-way. The winner is number 20 in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. The person who is pinned is number 1 in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Well, Dirty Dango is entering last, and Jake Something is entering first because Vladimir Kozlov, Oleg Prudius, is back in Impact Wrestling. Yes, back. Because, the last time he showed up, Cresta?
I'm not going to hold you. I heard Vladimir Kozlov, and I thought that was a really old wrestler who used to wrestle back in the day with Iron Sheik. So I was really confused. And then this young man showed up, and I heard Prudius. I heard like 4 different names. So I don't know who this young man is.
Who are you thinking of? Oh my God. Are you thinking Nikolai Volkov? You're thinking of Nikolai
I probably am. Like red trunks with the hammer and the sickle.
That's Nikolai Volkov.
That's what I'm thinking of. So I'm thinking when they said Vladimir Kozlov, I'm like, ain't he like Bob Backlund age? What is that? What is he doing in the Impact? I was very confused. My apologies. Please don't hate on me, y'all. I'm a nerd, okay?
So the last time we saw Vladimir Kozlov, Oleg Prudius, he actually showed up at the Atlanta tapings when Santino was named Director of Authority. That was January? No, it may have been January. So he showed up just for a random appearance, and that was that. So now he's actually in Impact doing the thing, and it makes perfect sense that he aligns himself with Dirty Dango because they're both WWE alumni who had silly gimmicks, let's face it. And now they're going to come back, and together they're going to hate pro wrestling together. And it just works because he's a big dude who's going to run roughshod through anyone Dango needs him to run through. And Dango's a pretty big dude, especially by Impact standard. So this is, I like the pairing. I think it's going to have a lot of people talking in a certain way. Some are going to hate it, but it's a good thing. Champagne Singh and Dango tried to team up for a bunch of the match. It worked until, well, Singh turned on Dango, but he hits a nasty leg drop, his last dance. And then Eric Young comes in, hits the top rope elbow, but that's when you got Kozlov showing up. And then, yeah, Prudius headbutts Jake something. Dango takes advantage, gets that pinfall. What do you think of this whole stuff?
I thought it was real funny how in the beginning, nobody wanted to fight Jordan Grace to, well, let's tag team Jordan Grace because this bitch is wild strong.
And she went for it too. Again, you're giving credence to she wants to work with everyone, gender non-specific.
And I thought it was great. I did also enjoy Jordan Grace being at the bottom of that tower of power, because I watch Impact Wrestling with a group of people who don't typically watch wrestling, or if they watch wrestling, their only exposure is AEW or WWE. So to hear people who've never seen Jordan Grace or people who are kind of familiar, like, what is this girl doing in a ring with these men? I'm like, oh, she's the strongest one in that ring. The only person who can maybe beat her because they're going to out crazy her is Eric Young. But she's the strongest person in that ring. Like, honestly, she's a threat. And in my opinion, I'm still manifesting this. Somehow, some way, Jordan Grace for the Impact World title, not the knockouts, the Impact World title, and then we get a feud between her and Deonna Purrazzo for it. I'm manifesting that. I don't care who I piss off with that. Fight your mom about it, but I'm manifesting that. Or Deonna pins Steve Macklin in a twist of fate.
God bless. We need that so bad.
I would pop. That's true love. And what you gonna do? You gonna pay your wife? Okay.
What I need. The thing with Jordan Grace is that she is absolutely going to beat anyone and everyone's ass regardless.
Yeah.
But actually, in the match, the 10-person tag they did the week before, Eric Young tied up with Kylan King for a while, and they did a really good exchange. So Eric Young had done a whole bunch of knockouts matches because he was a knockouts tag team champion once upon a time. So like, this isn't new to him. This version of Eric Young wrestling women is new. And I had forgotten for a second about old Eric Young wrestling in the knockouts division and like just being totally cool with it. And now I'm like, oh shit, that's right. He did it. And he does a good job. So him and Jordan Grace would actually be a really fun one-on-one matchup, title or not. Maybe it's just Jordan Grace's ascent includes defeating Eric Young, and I'm sure he would do that if it means Jordan Grace is on the run to a world title match.
I have to tell you, Joel, in my hardest of hearts, and I don't want either one of these people to lose, but I want to see Jordan Grace versus Josh Alexander. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't want either one of them to lose, but I want to see that match. I want to see it so bad. I want to see that match.
It's inevitable. It really is, especially if that's where
like Ace Austin. I see what you did there. I'm kidding.
Not on the show tonight, Ace Austin. Crazy Steve was on the show, and we mentioned this earlier. They're doing the match, Black Taurus versus Crazy Steve, no DQ. And then he talked about why he forked Tommy Dreamer. He said he's amazed and disgusted by him. He's not his friend. He's the angel of death. He's going to teach Black Taurus about pain and misery, which honestly, an Impact and you're a luchador, pain and misery is just anytime you step in the ring and lose.
That's true.
I got nothing to add. Speedball and Gia Miller just ends with Speedball saying he needs momentum. He's going to issue a challenge for next week. Turns out Samurai Del Sol answers the challenge. So would anyone like to wager a guess as to who is going to win between Speedball Mike Bailey and Samurai Del Sol next week in their matchup?
Jonathan Greshams will come out and cheat. If that doesn't happen, Samurai Del Sol, thanks for playing.
Chat, I'm going to give you a minute. Here we go. Get your answers in now.
I feel like to hear that, you gotta do the Jeff Jarrett.
All right, I've had enough of this. Anyway,
you're the worst.
Yes, I am. Courtney Rush and Tasha Steelz. Listen, there wasn't much going on the show tonight, so I got to do something. Get your super chats and derail us, please. Courtney Rush, Tasha Steelz. Match is fine. I thought it was going to be Deonna Purrazzo and Courtney Rush because I just expected it, but it wasn't what they did. Tasha Steelz twerks on Jessica. That's really the note that I have, and then tries it on Courtney Rush and then gets rolled up for it. It was fine. Tasha Steelz hits the cutter, gets the win. Better match than expected, but you know the Death Dolls are who they are on the card. What do you think of this?
My only note is lots of submissions. I'm surprised. Honestly, at this point, just me. I like the Death Dolls,
of course,
but I'm ready for Rosemary and Havoc to come back. Y'all need to put some respect on these women's names because not for nothing, since we were talking about tag teams earlier, this is kind of like your longest standing women's tag team. So I like that they're being, with my friend, totally rad, dude. Cool, we're going to the rave. But now I'm ready for them to start winning stuff again. And that's because I'm impatient. So that's just me.
It feels like some tag team, or just someone needs to beat them so bad that they get so pissed and they're back in the shadow realm, and they're the dark world, whatever.
Send you to the shadow realm.
I'm in the wrong mindset, but you get what I mean.
I got you. I was picking up what you was putting down.
Good. I'm glad. This is why we work. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. Is that they go back and they come back as the badass members of Decay, but again, Crazy Steve has left Decay as well. So they got to figure out where everyone stands in this, this.
You got to flip it. Yeah. I think you said this 2 or 3 weeks ago when we did Impact. If they go in there and they become, Havoc and Jessica, a life for life equivalent exchange, Crazy Steve, come on, Steven. Smart Mark Steven.
Well-adjusted Steve.
Well-adjusted. His gimmick is Joe Hendry's gimmick. And Joe Hendry's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm trying to motivate the people. My name is Steve, and I used to be crazy, but now I'm normal Steven. And Joe Hendry turns heels like, yo, this is copyright infringement. You're still in my gimmick. I understand you want to motivate people, but you're forking them at the same time, okay? No.
I'm here for it. They showed footage from Monday morning's New Japan show, Destruction and Rigoku. I'm glad that they did, because in the match, which most people probably haven't seen, but for those who don't know, the never open weight 6-man tag titles in New Japan were on the line. Motor City Machine Guns and Josh Alexander teamed up to take on the champions, who are, by the way, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Tomohiro Ishii. So 3 very well-known New Japan names holding the never open weight 6-man titles. And in the match, Alexander accidentally strikes Alex Shelley and basically leads into the finish. Tanahashi pins Shelley. It's a good match, and they bring up the point Kevin Kelly does on commentary, and they play it back on the replay. Was Josh Alexander supposed to hit Shelley? Was it an accident? Did he mean to do it, leading him to Bound for Glory? They do a good job of that. They didn't show the full match, but they showed the highlights. That stuff was good enough for me. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but it's just a little extra wrinkle.
I don't. I thought it was funny that Shelley was hitting Josh Alexander, but I want Alex Shelley to retain, but I also want Josh Alexander to win. I'm so torn in this match because I think Alex Shelley absolutely deserves it. But in my hardest of hearts, I feel like Josh Alexander about to give that man the C4 spike from hell.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good match. I'm looking forward to Bound for Glory. And that main event, that world match, the world title match, is going to be something else.
Yes.
Macklin and Bully, speaking of something else, Bully walks up to Macklin, who's sitting on a chair, and says, "Hey, you call me soft?" And then Macklin's like, "Yep." And Bully is just like, "Cool." He walks off, and Macklin's like, "Cool." All right, that was 45 seconds we had to do to fill this show.
Sometimes when you have beef with someone, you just have to make it established.
I thought it was already established, but here we are just connecting tissue.
If it was clear, if it wasn't clear before, because you just called me soft before, I might just come up to you and be like, Joel, just because it's true doesn't mean you have to say it out loud. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here we go out loud. So Fightful Select, the best $5 in the business. You want CM Punk news again? Yeah, we got it. It's $5, Fightful Select, and all that stuff. That is Canada clear, is what that is. green.
This is Canada erasure, and this is ridiculous. I don't know who. Justin Trudeau on the line right now.
That's your best $5 in the business right there. The interview notes we have with Alex Kane from the interview that Jeremy and I did ahead of his match at MLW Slaughterhouse, where we talk about his match that was supposed to be against Davey Boy Smith Jr., but has been since changed to Filthy Tom Lawler, which I'm very much looking forward to. So anyway, notes from that interview are up on FightfulSelect.com, along with the notes that Survivor Series and the return of War Games. So just go subscribe to Fightful Select. Get it, all the scoops, best $5 in the business. On top of that, you get Sour Graps, Alex Palowski, and our friend Kate Elizabeth, who hosts the Ring of Honor post show every Thursday night with Reg is Reg. And you get Coexisting After Dark with Rob and Maggie. You get those pre-shows I mentioned earlier. So much content. List goes on. SRS does a Q&A every week. Grab City does a Q&A every other week. It's good stuff. It's worth it. It's exclusive everything. $5 a month. You can do an annual now. It's $54 a month. Look at us getting you an annual subscription. Go to FightfulSelect.com. Get it. Okay? Get it right now.
Come on.
Get it? Did they get it yet?
It's $5. $54. It's 52 weeks in a year. I don't know the math. I'm not Scott Steiner, and I'm not a scholar. That's a truck.
I thought that was someone running the garburator in your kitchen.
Not the garburator. The garbador.
I'm full of old things this week.
Ooh, that popped me. That was good. Not the garburator. That was good. If you know what that means, it's time to schedule your first colonoscopy. Or get those knees checked if you've been thinking about it.
So old. Next week, Rhino and PCO. Speaking of old, take on Moose and Myers. Kenny King takes on Heath. Speedball is going to defeat Samurai Del Sol, and in a no disqualification match, Crazy Steve is also going to defeat Black Taurus. These aren't spoilers; these are just the reading of the tea leaves for wrestling. Okay.
If Samurai Del Sol wins, it's shenanigans, and it's nothing against Samurai Del Sol. It's just, unless your name is Black Taurus, because that's the most luchador I've ever seen win. That's it. It's curtains for you. It's curtains for you. Listen, you can do whatever you want in Impact, but you also might die. And these are just some things that are constant, okay? We don't make the rules.
That's why people just don't wear masks in Impact anymore.
You're going to die anyway.
He's not going to win. 2 out of 3 falls match. This was much better than it had any reason to be or any business being. Frankie Kazarian defeats Edward Edwards. The first fall of this 3-fall match. Well, let's just go through it. First fall is a normal traditional match. The second fall is a submission only match. The third fall, if necessary, spoiler alert, is a last man standing match. This was good. Edwards just getting physical early, chopping the shit out of Frankie Kazarian, making him bleed from his chest. I thought that, and they're like, Frankie Kazarian's bleeding, and I'm just like, where?
That's what I thought too. It was very Minoru Suzuki, Eddie Kingston. And when he was bleeding, when I realized he was bleeding from the chest, all I could think of was Kofi Kingston. Like, yo, did he get his nipple slapped off like the Big Show? Like, what happened?
It was gnarly, and there was a lot of blood. I don't know what happened, but I guess just either someone messed up a blade or the chops were actually that effective, because it was wild. The first fall was Kazarian missing his springboard leg drop, and then Eddie just hits a Boston knee party, gets that first fall 1, 2, 3. That was good. I love that they went straight to the first fall, got it out of the way in the first 5 to 6 minutes. Any notes from you on the first fall?
Besides the bleeding, no, because I literally have first fall Eddie Edwards, second fall submission match. Kaz is bleeding from his chest. Kaz bleeding.
And you know what? The second fall isn't much different. There's just a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
Again, the chops and then a few submission attempts, but not much. They do the arm bars, and then Eddie Edwards tries the Boston Crab, because of course he does his Boston. And then Edwards, this was actually a really good spot. It's good, and it's like character driven. So Edwards hits the backpack stunner, and then he gets a little too cocky and he's celebrating it. And then Kazarian like pops up and locks in the chicken wing. And then Edwards immediately taps. We're tied at 1. I liked this lead in to the third fall. What'd you think?
I think that it also keeps Kazarian's chicken wing very strong, because that is a move I've noticed that is really well protected. Like everyone, no matter who Kazarian wrestles, you know you don't want to get put in that chicken wing. Chicken wings are good to eat, not good to be put in. It's like a figure 4. Nobody wants to feel that pain. So Eddie Edwards immediately doing the I don't have time for this is not only is it smart, if you think about in the confines of wrestling, I don't have to stress myself out, because now there's definitely a third fall, and I'm not trying to have a fucked up arm trying to get out of that. So it was okay. It was okay. I think the bulk of this match was the third fall, in my opinion. The first 2 bring drama, like who's it gonna be? But this third fall, that ending spot, bro, it was a cartoon with your man's foot just like this. It was a cartoon. It was great.
If they had put a barbed wire crown around his head, then you would have been talking about Adam Cole and Adam Page from like 2022. AO Production sent us a super chat saying, "Forget the Gunther chops. Eddies are lethal." By the way, that last comment was because the Fade to Black is the Dead Eye. But anyway, go ahead.
I do not. I just don't agree with that. There are 2 people's chops. I would rather take a chop from Eddie Edwards than from Gunther or from Keith Lee. I'll throw myself in a well before I take a chop from either one of them.
I think AO was making the point that it caused the man to bleed, Cresta Starr.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Maybe Kazarian got thin skin. I don't know. But I would sooner take a chop. But also, I've heard a rumor. And speaking of rumors, I heard a rumor that there are 2 people in wrestling that you can't knock out. One is Johnny Gargano and the other one's Eddie Edwards. So Eddie Edwards having lethal chops makes sense. They said Eddie Edwards could be like this. And you could be like, 1, 2, and he's like, so him chopping the blood out of somebody makes sense.
So like you were saying, the first 2 falls, they just kind of got through it, because the last man standing means they can do the toys, they can do the fun stuff, they can do the walk and brawl, and also that's where the crowd's going to be into it the most, because they know at this point someone's going to win this match. It effectively the first 2 falls were just kind of there for extra flair. So,
but it also like makes it decisive, because some people will say, well, if I had one more match or one more fall or one apiece, so there's no question.
Yeah, and again, that's why this match was so much better than it had any business being, was because the psychology was there, the idea behind why we're doing it, and the way that we paced out the first 2 falls makes the third fall more effective, and it makes the feud ending a little bit more of a cherry on top. So you got Edwards. He starts bleeding from the head. He starts doing a couple of overhead suplexes on Kazarian, takes out someone at ringside as well. And then Kazarian kind of gets a second wind and hits the slingshot cutter. I thought that was going to be it, because they've been doing these quick falls. And one thing that I really love is that Kazarian is staying off of his feet, so he's not getting counted out, by putting his feet and his body across the bottom rope. And apparently that's good enough to not get counted out. So referee was counting out Edwards, and that was good. And then, later on we get to the good stuff. Edwards gets planted on the steel steps with the Unprettier by Kazarian. Lish shows up with the kendo stick, takes it to Kazarian. Edwards sets up the table in the corner outside. Kazarian hits a low blow on the stage, and a Styles clash, because that's what we're doing. We're doing Styles clashes. We're doing the Unprettier.
I popped for that.
We're basically just calling the hits for Frankie Kazarian. And then Kaz grabs Lish and runs. And God bless commentary, because they're trying to tell you that Lish goes through the table. Unfortunately, the camera very, very clearly shows. And this is, again, Kazarian is protecting Lish Edwards as he wants to and as he should. and it's mostly Kazarian taking the brunt of the table spot. But the idea here is that Lish went through the table, and then Edwards comes back. Kaz hits a fade to black, which is a dead eye from the apron to a table set up on the floor. Kazarian barely beats the count, wins the match and the feud. We're finally done. Edwards and Frankie Kazarian can stop fighting for the dead friendship of Killer Kowalski.
Didn't he just come back tonight? No.
Only in spirits.
This match was fine. I will say, Alicia Edwards getting put through that table, I'm going to keep the kayfabe. I chose to believe that that's what you deserved. You were being annoying for weeks. That's what you did. That air raid crash was funny to me because he really he did the Braun Strowman. He ran it all the way around, and that's what you deserve, Lish. The Styles Clash, I was like, all right, that popped me. Also, at the end, when he did the fade to black, before the 7 count, all you saw was Kazarian's leg, like on some cartoon. Just his leg was not where it should have been. Expert selling from the both of them. I hope this is the end. However, I don't think. The commentary said it. I think we get another, like, the school style kind of fight like that, and hopefully that'll be the end of it, or a mixed tag, because I feel like I love Impact.
We did the mixed tag already. That was Impact 1000. We did the school thing. They made me sit through it.
I don't trust.
No, they made me sit through the stupid school thing while I was at the show. That they should. You know what they should have done, Cresta? They could have reversed it. Okay, Emergence could have had this match.
Yes.
And then the school match could have been tonight or some. It should have been just shown to the audience.
Should have been me.
It should have never been shown to a live audience, that school bullshit. Okay, it's just not good.
Yeah, I feel like what they did in this match should have been done in the school match. That should have been done for either at Bound for Glory coming up or tonight. And what they did in the school match should have been done in the 2 out of 3 falls match, and that should have been done at Emergence. I don't know where we go from here. I would like to see Eddie Edwards and Alicia Edwards move on. Again, however, I love Impact Wrestling, but sometimes they will try to squeeze blood from a stone, and I've got a feeling this is not the end. I would like it for it to be the end, but I feel like there's more of a final match coming, and to me, this should have been it. But I don't have any faith.
No, I think this was it.
I hope.
Listen, they basically said, like, this is it. Most people were done with it. You and I have been done with it for a while. I tried to be as nice as I could about how long it's dragged on. There was a place for it. And again, this is the match that should end it, because it was a good 3 out of 3 falls match. They do not need to revisit it. They don't need to put it in a cage. They don't need to make it a Monsters Ball match, because they're already doing one at Bound for Glory. Like, there is no reason.
Who's in the Monsters Ball match?
PCO, Macklin, Rhino, and Moose. Because of the briefcase thing.
One of those things is not like the others. That's all I'm saying.
What? What's wrong?
PCO, Rhino, Moose, and who was the other one?
Macklin, who I hope Rhino gores through a barbed wire light tube board.
You know what? Never mind, because Moose has been in a Monsters Ball match before. This is the match made for PCO. Rhino was made for this. And Macklin's just angry.
They've all been in a Monsters Ball match.
I'm about to say, I feel like Macklin wasn't in a Monsters Ball match when he was against not Swan. I want to say Bully, but I feel like that's wrong.
No, I don't think it was that, but I got to look it up. But regardless, the reason why this is all connected is because at Impact 1000 and Feast or Fired, you had Macklin holding onto a briefcase, and then Rhino came out of nowhere, gored the briefcase out of Macklin's hand, and Moose ended up picking it up. PCO comes into it because it's PCO, and this is his swan song. He's leaving Impact at the end of this.
No,
this isn't anything people didn't already know.
Granddad Zombie, no.
Yeah, it seems like he's moving on. So there you go. Yes. What am I looking for?
You were looking for Monsters Ball with Macklin, who he was against.
Oh, no, he hasn't done Monsters Ball yet.
He hasn't?
Apparently not.
Oh, well.
Or at least not that I'm seeing.
Well, now you've got another reason to hate him.
I already do. They can't believe they let him into Canada last month. That's so stupid.
That's crazy. Canada's lost.
The worst.
Letting these Americans in left.
Anyway, that's Impact for October 12th. Next week, Cresta and I are back to not only review the weekly show, but then we'll be back on Saturday night, the 21st, to review Impact Bound for Glory, along with our pal Steven Jensen, who hosts the Weekender podcast on FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the business. Cresta Starr, what you got going on?
What if I told you that I don't think I'm going to be here for Bound for Glory because Rick isn't here for the whole month of October for a Collision?
Tell Sean to go to work.
You tell Sean to go to work.
I'll tell him to go to work. Sean will tell you to go wherever you want. If you need a ringer on Collision, someone else will do it. If it's just Jensen and I doing it, you do whatever you want, lady. We'll be here.
For what it's worth, I want to do Bound for Glory.
You should.
This match looks...
It's a stacked ass card. Will Ospreay and Mike Bailey are going to have a hell of a for some reason, the only sponsorship infused match. And you got Trinity and Mickie James, who, by the way, not even a mention of either woman tonight. Focus on other things.
Well, either way, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I will be here Saturday. I won't be here this Saturday because my friend is coming from Canada. He's walking a ball. And you're like, Cresta, what's a ball? Back to the middle and a back again. Get it if you get it. If you don't, you don't. However, Monday, I am returning back to my normal stream schedule. I'm tired of being sad and I'm ready for wrestling. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you can catch me on twitch.tv/Cresta Starr or tiktok.com/@Cresta Starr. We'll be doing everything related to Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, SmackDown, and Rampage. No audio, no video, just audio because DMCA strikes are real. Thursdays and Saturdays, you can catch me here most of the time with Joel Pearl on Thursdays going over Impact stuff. Saturdays with Rick Ucchino and Iridian, sometimes Sean Rossap, going over all things Collision, but it seems like Impact is going to choke me this month, and that's okay. If that was a lot of stuff, Cresta the Star here at the bottom somewhere, follow me. Cresta the Star on Twitter or x.com, and there's a link tree in my bio. I love you all. Again, check on your friends. Take care of yourself. Mental health is very important. Tell those people you love them. And if you miss them, it doesn't matter how long you ain't speak to them. Tell them you love them. Joel Pearl, where can the people find you?
Very easy to find. I'm at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl on all social. If you want to find me, I'm in the weeds over on our sister channel, Fightful Overbooked. Go to youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. till noon. Myself and Jeremy Lambert talk about everything. What are we doing tomorrow? I don't know. Selena Della Renta from MLW joins us at 10 a.m. I'm actually very much excited for that conversation ahead of MLW Slaughterhouse. And Andrew Zarian's probably going to show up and give us a conspiracy theory because that's what he does. So shout out to that. Otherwise, you know what? We'll figure out what to talk about because we certainly don't have Dynamite to talk about. We did that on Wednesday. So, come watch the show. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, Bound the Battery. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.